Maria sat across from me, but the hostility was gone. She looked healthier, clearer, like a weight had lifted. Your Honor, she said, I support Marcus having primary custody. I'm not ready. I need to work on myself, be the mother my children deserve. I know Marcus will take care of them while I do that. The judge granted it. Primary custody to me, supervised visits for Maria with a path to unsupervised as therapy progressed. Carol and Richard's trial was set for next month. They'd already lost everything that mattered to them, their money, their reputation, their control. I drove home with my kids that day, really home, our home. Lucas chattered about school from the back seat. Emma showed me her improved report card, grades climbing back up, normal kid stuff, beautiful, boring, normal kid stuff. That night, I cooked my famous roast chicken, the one with rosemary garlic butter. This time, Lucas helped mash the potatoes. Emma set the table without being asked. We ate together, talking and laughing. No iPads, no coaching, no lies between us. Dad, Emma asked as I tucked her in, are you going to stay forever now? Forever and always, baby girl. Forever and always. And for the first time since I'd come home from Afghanistan, I actually believed it. The weeks that followed felt like walking through a minefield. Every morning brought new challenges, new attempts to undermine the custody arrangement. Carol and Richard weren't going down without a fight, and they had resources I couldn't match. The first sign of trouble came when I tried to enroll Emma in her school's aftercare program. The administrator looked at her computer screen, then back at me with confusion. I'm sorry, Mr. Hanley, but our records show you don't have educational rights. That's impossible. I have primary custody. She turned her monitor toward me. There it was, a document filed just days before the emergency hearing, signed by Maria, removing me from all educational decisions. Jake later discovered Carol had Maria sign dozens of forms during those final weeks, creating a paper trail of restrictions that would take months to untangle. Lucas started having nightmares. He'd wake up screaming for his mother, then immediately apologize, as if showing any attachment to Maria was betraying me. Dr. Patterson worked with him twice a week, slowly unpacking the psychological damage. She showed me drawings he'd made during sessions, stick figures with angry faces labeled daddy, standing over smaller figures. When asked about them, Lucas would shut down completely. The coaching runs deep, Dr. Patterson explained during a parent consultation. He's been programmed to see you as a threat. It'll take time to rebuild that trust. Meanwhile, Emma retreated into herself. She'd sit at the dinner table, picking at her food, barely speaking. When I asked about her day, she'd give one-word answers. The vibrant, chatty daughter I remembered from before deployment had been replaced by this hollow shell. 3 weeks into our new arrangement, I got a call from the school. Emma hadn't shown up for first period. Panic shot through me as I raced to the school, calling her phone repeatedly. No answer. I found her sitting alone at a bus stop 6 blocks away, still in her school uniform. I was going to find Mom, she said quietly when I sat beside her. Brad said if I ever needed to escape, I should call him. My blood ran cold. When did Brad tell you this? Before you came back. He gave me a phone, said it was our secret. She pulled out a cheap flip phone from her backpack. Jake's investigator later traced it to a batch purchased with stolen credit cards. Brad had been planning contingencies, grooming my daughter for months. The financial pressure intensified. Despite the custody change, the wage garnishment continued. Maria's lawyer filed motion after motion, claiming administrative delays. My take-home pay barely covered groceries and gas. When the truck's transmission started slipping, I couldn't afford repairs. I'd walk Emma to school, then catch 2 buses to get to work. Carol found new ways to insert herself. She'd show up at the kids' school during lunch, standing just outside the property line, waving at them through the fence. The school couldn't do anything since she wasn't technically trespassing. Emma would come home upset, confused about why Grandma couldn't visit anymore. She says you're keeping her away because you're mean, Emma told me one evening. She says she has presents for us, but you won't let her give them. I tried explaining the situation in age-appropriate terms, but how do you tell a child their grandparents are manipulative criminals? Every explanation sounded like I was the one poisoning them against family. Richard took a different approach. He started calling my employer daily, filing complaints about safety concerns. HR documented each call, but the damage accumulated. My supervisor pulled me aside after the 10th complaint. Marcus, I know this is personal stuff, but it's affecting the workplace. Other guards don't want to work shifts with you. They're worried about getting caught up in whatever this is. I found myself increasingly isolated. The few friends from before deployment had drifted away during my months living in the truck. Jake remained steadfast, but he had his own practice to run. The loneliness pressed in during quiet moments, when the kids were asleep and the house felt too empty. Maria's supervised visits were another source of tension. She'd arrive with Carol and Richard, who'd wait in the parking lot despite the no-contact order. The supervisor, a tired-looking woman named Denise, did her best to manage the situation, but Maria would spend the entire 2 hours